Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. This is a book review on Shanelle Dawson with Ali Pascoe's book My Mother's Eyes. It's a memoir, and this is quite a controversial situation in Australia. Basically, when Shanelle was 4 years old, her mother Lynette disappeared. So this happened on 8th of January 1982, and so Shanelle was a 4-year-old, and then there was a 2-year-old younger sister. Shanelle's father, Chris Dawson, who was a footballer and a teacher at a Sydney high school, and but was well known. He was also a twin, so him and his twin brother played football, and they were quite, at least publicly, well known in the 70s. And so Chris Dawson said that his wife just needed to get away, and this is what he explained to his daughters and Shanelle and her sister and the Lynn's parents and siblings and all of that, but Lynn never came back. And about at this time, a teenager from the high school was also living with them, and this teenager basically was a student of Chris Dawson's and had home life troubles and had basically moved in with the Dawsons, and basically, you know, within the week of Lynette disappearing, had moved into her, you know, sharing the bed with Chris, and basically ended up marrying him and having her own child with him before leaving him. So that was quite maybe controversial at that time, but apparently this has also been the story has been the subject of a podcast called Teacher's Pet. And it has been subject of a lawsuit as well. So Chris Dawson, who'd been living in Queensland, had a trial in 2003 where he was finally convicted of the murder of Lynn Dawson. And this is kind of Shanelle's reckoning of the whole story. And she's actually completely estranged from her sister and the rest of the Dawson side of the family, but thankfully has become quite close to her mother's side of the family. And the podcast Teacher's Pet is very, very well done, and it goes over a lot of stuff that had happened, and just like the unusual behaviour of both Chris, his twin brother, and the fact that they were sleeping with students of their high school, and the kind of dawning realization of Shanelle basically kind of recognizing what her father had done to her mother, and this is nothing. The conviction has happened, and Chris is currently in prison. And this happened in Sydney, and the teachers, his second wife, testified that she believes that he killed her as well. So Shanelle has basically lost both of her parents at this stage, and so this kind of goes over her life and history, and how she came to believe that her father was the killer, and how she's had her own child and travelled the world and eventually settled as well. So this is definitely an interesting book. I had listened to Teacher's Pet when it first came out, and and then they had actually removed the podcast when the trial was ongoing, as to not sway like jurors or media, but it was a very popular podcast when I'd listened to it, probably in 2018 or 2019. It was a significantly popular podcast, and had really brought a lot of attention to Lynette Dawson's story, and what was believed to have happened to her. So definitely recommend reading this. There are a couple of books out. I think there's a book out from a friend. There's a book out from The Journalist. There's the Teacher's Pet podcast. I'll try and link as much as I can down below. But this was quite a controversial thing when Chris Dawson was on trial as well. So I definitely recommend. It was definitely quite interesting. And yeah, if you're into kind of the murder and true crime podcasts and true crime stories, this is probably the book for you. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the day. And I will catch up with you next video. Bye everyone.